I would be fine without offensive linemen, but I would take a defensive lineman first, whether it's an edge rusher or an interior guy, a tackle. I would take one of those guys before taking an offensive lineman. Mike Tannenbaum, this is his first mock draft he's done this year. He has Cam Ward to the Tennessee Titans at 1.
No shock.
Cleveland Browns take Travis Hunter.
Okay, is he as a corner or is he as a receiver?
Yes.
Both.
That's up to them, not me.
Okay.
The Giants take Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Even though they just signed Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
The Patriots take Armand Membo. So the first tackle's gone.
Yeah.
The Jags take Abdul Carter at 5, which is, I can't believe he fell to 5. But
Because he's got foot questions.
I understand he's got foot questions, but your guy Albert Breer was on today with Waddle and Yurko and said that even Cam Ward would be drafted lower than Penix was this year. Like, that's how bad these quarterbacks are. Like, the top 3 quarterbacks from last year would all be above any of these quarterbacks from this year. I'm not taking Shedeur Sanders. I'm not doing it.
Probably am not either. By the way, sidebar, may I approach?
That we don't do that on this show, but sure, brought to you by Aiken Law.
312-6 million for the great Howard Aiken. So Mindy and I were in Mexico 2 weeks ago. The night before free agency, we're at dinner, and I look up, and who's sitting from me to Abdalla? I mean, 3 feet. Michael Penix Jr. and his fiance. And I said, oh, hon, I got to see if he knows if we're getting Chris Dahlman the center. She's like, absolutely not. He's on vacation. Leave that man alone.
She's definitely not letting you approach Sheryl Crow.
And I said, hon, he's going to know if his center is coming to the Bears. I can break the story from Mexico. She's like, absolutely not.
I think that's tampering. We are the home of the Bears.
So what does that have to do with it? So I just went, hey, Michael, how you doing? And he's good. Hey, brother, how you doing? And he kept going, and I didn't do it.
You froze?
I froze.
Wow.
My wife was like, don't you do it.
Froze in
Don't
his
do it.
tracks.
So the next day, news breaks, Chris Dahlman's a Bear. And then Grady Jarrett, like an hour and a half, 2 hours later.
Did you
is a
find
Bear.
him?
He's laying 2 lounge chairs over at the pool. And I said, F this. Hey, Michael, can I ask you a quick question? And I had a Bears shirt on. He's like, you're wearing a Bears shirt? I said, yeah. I've hosted their post game. They're on our radio station. He said, I said, we just got 2 of your guys. He said, yeah, we're not happy about it.
All right.
I said, Dahlman? He goes, that's my guy. He's awesome. And he said, Grady runs the room. He's the greatest.
Good.
Said, that's all I needed. Thank
Good.
you.
Good. I hope they do.
14 wins.
I had it 16-1.
Yeah,
Lock it in.
Cap by the day is going up like a tenth of a win every day.
Yeah, nothing
The way
wrong
I
with
hear you
that.
talking about them in the morning. So
You
Abdul
want to see
Carter's
the
gone.
100 you paid me off with in 2018?
Do you still have that?
I still do.
He carries it around
I gave
just
it
for
to him
this
in-
moment.
No, I gave it to you in singles, so I don't know why you'd be carrying $100 in singles with you. Number 6, the Raiders do the Bears a favor and take Ashton Genty.
Thank God.
The Jets take Will Campbell, and not a favor to the Bears. The Panthers take Jalen Walker, the edge out of Georgia. The Saints take Mykel Williams, the other edge out of Georgia, 2 Bulldogs back-to-back. And then the Chicago Bears.
Let me see if I can guess. So there's no Mykel Williams. There's no Membu. Thank God. There is no.
You don't like Membo?
No. I will say the Chicago Bears select the cornerback out of Michigan.
No. Mason Graham is still there, and the Bears take him.
Oh, Mason Graham is still there. Okay, yes, they would. know
Mason
that.
Graham is still there for some reason, and the Bears run to the podium as fast as they can
And get him.
and
That's
select
cool.
Mason Graham there.
I'm good with him.
I like that move because you mentioned Grady Jarrett. I think that you still have to get younger at that position. You still have to get younger in the interior of your line because Billings is coming off of an injury. You've got Grady Jarrett, who's 32, and his production, look, he can lead the room. That's fine. His production isn't great. Like, he hasn't had, his production's consistently, he was injured 2 years ago. The last 2 years after that, his production's consistently gone down. I think you do need to get younger at that position on all positions on the defensive line. I would be fine without offensive linemen, but I would take a defensive lineman first, whether it's an edge rusher or an interior guy, a tackle. I would take one of those guys before taking an offensive lineman.
312-332-3776. In terms of that mock draft, what's the kid at Ole Miss? Jackson Dart?
Yeah.
Where does he go?
Jackson Dart goes to...
Shea has him at 9.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I think he's going to go up high. He goes 26 to back up Matthew Stafford.
Wow, 26. Shea has him at 9. And there's others now jumping on board. Shea was the trailblazer on that.
I think that he's going to end up going high. I think that I've seen him at as high as 3 in some mock drafts because it goes quarterback, quarterback, quarterback. Because guys are just desperate.
And how many quarterbacks does he have going in the first round?
I believe just 3. Yeah, just 3. So, yeah, but I've seen that Cam Ward goes, and then the Browns take Shedeur Sanders, and then the Giants take Jackson Dart, which is insanely dumb.
How good is Jackson Dart? I mean, I watched Ole Miss a little bit. They were okay. I'm not a big fan of their coach, so I always root against them.
He was at USC for a little bit. Wasn't he at USC for a year? He wasn't very good.
What, did he back up Caleb?
No, he started for a year, didn't he?
No, he was the year before Caleb, and he transferred to Ole Miss.
Oh, he was there the year before Caleb won that Heisman.
Yeah. And then that's the year that Caleb was at Oklahoma.
Got it.
And then went to USC. He's fine, but again, none of these quarterbacks are worth. Like if you're the Rams and you're taking him for a backup, fine, do that. I get that. I get taking a quarterback
and
learn behind Stafford for a few years, however many years Stafford is going to play, and then eventually maybe you're good enough and you take over. That you learn under Sean McVay. That's the way to do it. I think with any of these guys. But as Albert Breer told Waddle and Yurko today, a lot of these guys in the top of the draft, their job depends on these quarterbacks, and a way to reset that clock on your employment is to take a young quarterback.
So who does he have the Steelers taking in round 1? Because even if they sign Rodgers, they've got to get somebody in the pipeline because he's 40 years old, 41.
Yeah. He has them taking, I got to find the Steelers, Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M.
So let me ask you something. Would you guys take, if you were the Steelers, would you sign Rodgers?
Yeah. He gives you the best option to win because the Steelers, no matter who they put back there, because they're never going to be bad enough to be in the top 5 to get a really good quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like they're not just going to tank and be a top,
awful.
Yeah, and be horrible enough to get one of the top 5 guys next year. They're going to be right in the middle at 500. They're going to be drafting right where they are around 20, 21, and they're going to end up continually picking, the 4th best player at that position. So you have to just keep signing old guys. So they'll sign Rodgers this year, and in 2 years, Kirk Cousins will be a Steeler.
That becomes my second favorite team behind the Bear.
Right.
I'll be rooting for the Steeler.
All right.
Let's go. Because I like Rodgers.
I think
Tomlin.
I think you're the only guy that likes Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's false. McAfee loves him.
McAfee likes him too. Okay,
Cap and McAfee.
You and McAfee.
That's it.
Off the top rope.
You
both
and
love
McAfee.
him.
That's it. I like Rodgers. I liked Rodgers when he was a Packer. I didn't like what he did to us, but I'm a fan.